What's going on, everybody? Alex with you here as usual. Thank you for dropping by for yet another chess video. This one's pretty exciting video where I'm going to show you some essential accessories for the SquareOFF Pro Board that I actually wasn't even aware existed up until just recently. In fact, I made that video where I was comparing the SquareOFF Pro Board against the Chestnut Air just like a couple of weeks ago. And towards the end of that video, I remember saying it would have been nice to see some additional things like wooden chess pieces for the SquareOFF Pro Board. And Lord and behold, I went on their website and I found that there is, I will shoot a link below for you guys to actually see, there was a little subcategory underneath the products they're selling. It said accessories. So I went in there and boom, I found, well, what it was actually has been fairly frequently advertised with the SquareOFF Pro Board, and that is this really nice suave looking leather or leatherette. It feels like leather. It feels really nice. This little tote bag, purse, satchel, what have you. It was, I think, retailing for about $70, and now I think they got it on sale for only $39, which is great. I'm going to show you and kind of let you know about my opinion about this bag, because the reason why I got this bag, besides the fact that I wanted to show this bag to you guys, is that up until now, my SquareOFF Pro Board, it's really been kind of hanging out in the original box that I purchased it in, or I would just like kind of roll it up and put some kind of a band around it, but then the pieces would be somewhere. And I decided I really needed something for like some kind of a storage bag. So there were different options, because I could have went with like third-party ones and just bought something off of Amazon, but I decided, hey, why not just check this out? Check it out because it was made for the board, and see how it performs, see what it's like, and see if it's something that you guys might want to invest into as well. So in addition to that, I also found in the accessories wooden chess pieces for the SquareOFF Pro Board, and I was super excited about this particular purchase because, well, because SquareOFF Pro Board actually has been one of the first boards that I have tested extensively online, and because I've used it so much, it really sort of laid the groundwork for me as far as what my expectations were from smart type of boards. So my honest opinion is SquareOFF Pro Board is fantastic for people that want a really large size board that they can roll up and take it about anywhere. But it's also really nice because it sort of was the first board that I experienced what it was truly like playing against somebody online, where you actually played a human being and you actually sat down and you would make a move and you would sit, and you knew in your mind that waiting time between you making a move and the opponent making a move is a real life person somewhere on the other side of the planet or wherever thinking. It's not some just robotic response from some AI. It was actually a live person, and that feeling, it was really quite exciting. So anyways, therefore, I thought, why not upgrade to some wooden chess pieces? So what we're going to do in this video is, hopefully I'm going to make it kind of brief as I can, but I will show you guys what these pieces look like. I'm going to compare them to the original plastic pieces that come with the SquareOFF Pro Board, and I'll show you to the best of my ability what this bag looks like. Okay. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and start by taking a look at the bag itself. This brown leather-like, very smooth, nice, soft leather material. I'm not really sure if this is 100% leather or if it's synthetic leather, but it feels really nice, and it feels like it's been made really well. In the very front here, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see, but you have the little SquareOFF logo with the SquareOFF sign. You have the same type of logo on the other side, in fact, so it's kind of a two-sided logo here. You have the double stitching, or the stitching across here, which is really nice to see, and then stitching on each side of this sort of a brown strap that goes all the way around the entire bag, as you can see. And then it comes up to the other side with these two handles that you can use to just kind of walk around, because altogether, the little bag here, as you can see, and all the pieces inside on the board don't really weigh a whole lot, so it's really easy to just carry this bag this way. However, if you wanted to throw this bag across your shoulder and carry it like a purse or like some kind of a satchel, you have this additional really, really nice brown colored strap with this very soft and very well designed pad for your shoulder. This really does kind of, when you look at this really does feel like quality. You can see from the tiny little details that they really put in the time to make sure this is quality, and it feels like quality, and it's not just some bag, but it actually kind of tells me that the people who designed this bag really wanted you to feel good about your product, therefore about their product, the SquareOFF Pro Board, and that you could showcase it in a way that with a really nice professional looking bag, you know, that you are telling people out there that there's a professional product inside here, which it is. It's the SquareOFF Pro. The overall color and everything is really nice. I probably wish that if they could do other colors, maybe like a darker blue or something. If this is pure leather, then I mean, I guess they only have very limited selection of colors that they can do, but if they had additional colors, that'd be great too. You don't have any compartments on the outside. As you guys have seen, I rolled this around. There's no compartments on this side. There's no compartments here. There's no compartments on the outside of the bag. So all you have is just this one single zipper right here on the top. And we'll take a look at it in just a second. On the sides here, I forgot to mention, but you have these really nice golden-like clasps that sort of, you can take it off. If you don't need the strap on the very top, you can take off the strap completely, and therefore you can save yourself some extra weight. If you intend on only carrying this bag in by these handles, then that's fine. You don't have to have the strap, because otherwise the strap would be hanging down below and sort of, you know, it's not really getting in the way of anything, but you have that option of taking off the strap. So now that we've taken off the strap, let's go ahead and take a look at the inside. In the inside, everything's kind of helter-skelter right now. I didn't really know exactly what's the best way of putting the board in, but well, let's go ahead and take all the pieces out and the board out so I can show you guys what the inside of this bag looks like. Just like I said, the board fits in here really nicely. Very good. Okay. When we've taken everything out here, I'm gonna kind of show you guys what the inside of this baggie looks like. You have essentially just this compartment right over here. It's just one single compartment. Interestingly, the compartment right down the middle is separated by this sort of a not so heavy, not so sturdy, movable, foldable type of a separation. I guess you could call it separation. There's no additional compartments on the side here anywhere, as you could see. There's no compartments on this side here anywhere. That's about it. That's about it. So basically, this little baggie is intended, I really don't know what is the best way. My assumption is you take your SquareOFF Pro Board like this. Here's my board that you guys have seen already numerous times, and you fold it, okay? This is my assumption of how best to carry it. And then you just put it in the bag. But then the biggest question is, okay, so now we got the board in the bag, and we have this extra space all around. The biggest question is, do you just throw the pieces on top the way I've done it? Because if you do that, you're fine. Or I suppose you can kind of get inside here and just pop the pieces down in here in the middle. If you did that, then you can have the pieces on the inside of the board. The biggest difference that I've noticed as far as where you want to put the pieces is, from what I've noticed, is that even though you have quite a bit of space around the board, because the board, you know, it takes up some space, but it doesn't take up too much space. If you throw the pieces around here, they really, the company itself should make a video on how to properly store the pieces in here, which I'm sure they did, you know. Every time I say the company should do this or the company should do that, they're way ahead of me, and they've already done it at some point. But I guess you could just throw the pieces like this, and once you're done throwing all the pieces in, you sort of kind of, I'll show you guys. I think I got all, well, no, I got a couple more pieces. The pieces themselves are kind of big, so That's it. So let's assume I just threw the pieces here and I just kind of let them slide to the side. Like I said, the bag itself is pretty big, so there's enough space once you sort of there's enough space for you to be able to do that. But if you do that, towards the very end, like right here, as you guys have seen, it does get kind of tight for you to put the zipper up and close it. Once you're done with that, also like when you look at the side of the bag, it kind of looks like it's bulging in some areas. So I'm not sure if this is the best way to carry it, or maybe if you just want to put the pieces inside of the actual roll-up board and then carry it that way. I would assume that would be the better way, but this way that I just done is a little bit easier to do. So I don't know. I don't know what's the best way, but either way, there you have it. This is the bag, okay? So let's go ahead and we're gonna move on to the wooden chess pieces. I'm gonna show you guys the wooden chess pieces come in this SquareOFF box. The satchel came in the box like this too, except it was a little bit bigger. Really nicely packaged chess pieces, as you guys can see. I've already opened them up, but I put them back in here just so that I could show you guys how they were shipped. You have the dark square pieces and the light square pieces. We're gonna go ahead and take them out here in just a second, and I'll show you guys how they compare and what they feel like in relationship to the original plastic chess pieces, so you guys can get an idea if this is something you guys would want. I bought these pieces here, I believe, for, I think it was either 69 or 79 something. Now they have it on sale for 59. So there you have it. So you can get pieces, wooden chess pieces for the board. If you're using a SquareOFF Pro board and you can't get enough of the board, then I guess you could get wooden chess pieces, and that will make the experience a little bit more authentic. But let's go ahead. I'm going to switch the camera angle around and we'll take a look at these pieces, okay? Alrighty, my good friends. So let's go ahead and start off by taking a look at the kings. Here we have, as you could see, the original plastic kings for the SquareOFF Pro board. And then right next to them, in comparison, are the wooden, and hopefully everything will be in focus. My biggest fear is that I do these videos just like I have to reshoot this video because things were out of focus the last time. As you guys immediately can see, there's going to be a little bit of a height difference between the original plastic king and the wooden chess pieces. There's quite a lot of a difference as far as the height if we don't take into account the finials. The finial on the wooden chess piece is a little bit more crude, less cut marks into it, but it is a little bit bigger. It is a little bit thicker. If you can see, like the side of it, a little bit thicker overall. But if we don't take into account the finial and we just take into account the height differences between the top here of the king, then the wooden king is substantially shorter here. As far as the underside goes, the diameter of the wooden king is going to be a little bit less, as you guys can see here. By the way, these, if left alone, these chess pieces kind of repel each other. In fact, if we put them this way right here, we can't even put them in close to each other because they repel. There's big magnets on the underside of them that I'm guessing are placed in there just so that the board can recognize the pieces. But if we look at the underside of the plastic chess pieces, we have this sort of a plasticky sticker-like non-felt bottom, and then if we look at the wooden ones, we have this sort of a red felt. It's not the felt we've seen with some of the other chess pieces that I've reviewed before. It's really kind of on the thin side, kind of this velvety type of felt, and yeah, so that's the biggest difference on the underside. The practicability of having different felt here is because the board itself is rubber silicone-like. The sticker-like felt here on, not felt, but the sticker-like bottom here on the plastic chess pieces allows you to have some kind of sliding ability. It's not super smooth sliding. There's a lot of resistance because of the board itself. I mean, if you guys have played on silicone boards before, you know what the resistance is like. They're not meant to have pieces slide on them. Same goes for this particular board, but because of this particular felt here, it sort of grips the board a lot more, and you cannot really effectively slide these pieces on this board. I would probably say you shouldn't even slide pieces on this board because then you potentially could be confusing the board. You just should pick up the piece and move it to another square.
But just in case, that's one of the things that's kind of the biggest difference right off the bat, is that you can't really slide them easy at all. And these you can a little bit. Okay, so weight difference between the two kings is not by a whole lot. I've already weighted them before. There's only like a couple of grams difference, but just for the sake of this video, I'm gonna go ahead and weight them out. So yeah, the shape of the pieces, as you guys can see here, the shape is so much different than one to the other. I wonder what was the intention of making the wooden chess pieces different in shape, because if you're already used to this particular shape of the plastic chess pieces, it would probably make more sense to expect to make the same exact shape out of the wooden ones, but they did a little bit of a different design. Maybe they thought that having this particular design would be more better overall ergonomically for the board anyways, so they decided to go that route. But it's different. So like I said, for people who are used to the shape of the plastic chess pieces, you guys will see shortly here, the other chess pieces will vary too quite a bit. But weight-wise, the dark king weighs at 32 grams, and then the light one weighs in at 30 grams. And then the light king here weighs in at 29 grams, so just a few grams lighter, and 28 grams for the dark king. So I actually kind of had an expectation that these wooden chess pieces are going to be a little bit heavier. We've seen oftentimes when we compare wooden chess pieces to plastic chess pieces that there's at least a noticeable weight difference of like 10-15 grams. And being that these are the kings, kings are usually, they weigh the most. If you remember me reviewing the 1852 Poulsen set, I think the king weight was like 120 something grams. So it was really, really heavy. These are going to be on the light side. The distribution of weight is, it's about equal in these. It's about like towards the middle somewhere here. But in some of the wooden chess pieces, I'll oftentimes expect there to be some kind of a weight down in the bottom that allows the weight distribution of the wooden chess piece to be a little bit more towards the bottom. But then depending on what type of wood they use, if they use like really dense wood, then that distribution of weight starts to kind of creep up more towards the middle. Here, the wood that they use, I think, is boxwood. They put some kind of like a lacquer or some kind of a finish on the front, like on the surface of these pieces. In fact, when I originally just got the bags and I opened them up, there was this like synthetic smell, relatively sharp smell that I felt like was not super pleasant. But I'm assuming that after you've had these pieces air out, like you would air out a mattress or something, then the smell would effectively disappear over time. But yeah, there was some kind of like a stain smell. It was relatively strong. The wooden chess piece, the dark king here, as you can see, is a dark color. I think based on the way that the grain is, when I'm looking closely at the boxwood, the grain here doesn't show through that much. It's not very perceptible compared to like some of the other wooden chess sets. But based on evaluating the grain of this chess piece and evaluating the grain of this one, I am bound to say, now I could be wrong, but I'm bound to say that this is some kind of a boxwood, inexpensive boxwood. And this is, I think, boxwood as well. I think it's just stained. If we were to remove the stain, we probably would get this color. But there you have it. By the way, boxwood, there's a lot of different types of boxwood, and boxwood will come with different types of densities. So just because you're looking at a chess set somewhere online or something and it says boxwood, not all boxwood is created equal. Just wanted to let you guys know. Alrighty, so here are the queens. We have the light queens and the dark queens. As you guys can see, if we put these pieces together, there's also going to be a little bit of a height difference, not by much, but there's a height difference. The plastic pieces are going to be a little bit taller. The overall shape of the plastic pieces is also substantially different. You have the shape difference of the cuts here, and then you have this sort of a semicircular elevation here with a slightly small dimple, whereas on the wooden chess piece you have a larger dimple and a little bit of a flatter elevation here. The amount of cuts that we see here is also different. I mean, the entire like redesign of the chess queen is completely different. The circles here are a different height, and the bases are going to be a little bit different too. As you can see, the diameter of the plastic chess piece is going to be a little bit larger. It's a little bit smaller here. Okay. As far as the weight of the queen goes, the plastic light queen is at 29 grams, and the dark queen is at about 28. So as you will see here, and then the light queen's at 27 for the wooden ones, so not that much different, and 29 for the dark one. Like I said, not a whole lot different. But different in shape by far, definitely different in shape, different in the overall features. A bigger ring here at the bottom, as you guys can see. Smaller ring here, a lot more different in all aspects, from the overall top of the shape to this ring here to the diameter of the neck part and to the base too. It's just everything's different. Let's go ahead and take a look at the bishops. Okay, yeah, bishops too are gonna be a little bit shorter. The wooden ones are a little bit shorter, as you guys can see here, not by much, but the plastic bishops here, the top portion is going to be a little bit more slender, a little bit more oval-like, whereas in the wooden ones, you guys can see that the top portion is a lot more rounded, almost like a pawn, except bigger than a pawn, but still it's going to be a lot more rounded. The slit here that you guys can see is going to be different too. In the plastic one, it's going to be a little bit thicker cut and doesn't extend as far as the thinner cut that you guys can see here. It extends a little bit further inwards. The distribution of where the ring is, the ring here on the plastic bishop is a little bit higher, making the neck portion here a little bit taller as well, and it sort of pushes this top portion a little bit higher up proportionately, whereas on the wooden one here, we see that the ring is situated a little bit more towards the center of the bishop, making this neck here part a little bit smaller. The transition between the neck here to the base is almost at about the same height, as you guys can see here, but once again, the transition is a lot more subtle on the wooden one, and on the plastic one, we have this sort of a ridge or like a platform almost, and then it transitions into base wise, a little bit bigger base diameter here, a little bit smaller base diameter here, not by a whole lot, but we've seen this kind of like a pattern. As you guys can see, these chess pieces will separate one from the other because of the anti-magnetic effect. Top portion here, a little bit of a kind of a dimple, same type of dimple we've seen with the queen, just ever so slightly small, and then a much bigger one, more pronounced here at the top. If we didn't take into account the dimple, then we would have the wooden bishop being substantially shorter than the plastic one, but it almost feels like this top portion here compensates for the overall height difference here. The dark bishops are about the same. Really not much can be said, just that the coloration is going to be a little bit different. As far as the weight goes, the light plastic bishop is at 21 grams. The dark plastic bishop is at 21 grams. The light wooden bishop is at 23 grams, so just a couple of grams heavier. And then the dark bishop's actually at 18, so a little bit of a difference between the weight of these two bishops. Not by much, not really noticeable practically, but just a little bit of a weight. But they're all in the same ballpark range, you know. Like I said, practically you won't tell the difference as far as the weight between these two. Let's jump into the knights. Okay, so here are the knights. The knights, as you can see, are completely different design overall. These wooden knights are more or less like the championship knights or like the Queen's Gambit knights, or the even like the recent Hungarian Romanian knights, based on the way that like the shape overall and the crude dimensions and features of the face. We've seen these type of knights used, like the German knights and everything. Some people like them, some people don't like them as much. The plastic knight here is a representative more or less of like the classic Staunton-like knight, with the shape and the head being kind of more situated parallel to the ground, and the overall sort of increase in the detail of the face, the open mouth, and kind of what we've seen a lot of times with like Staunton-like knights. So different, super different. As you guys can see, I really don't know the reasoning behind why they chose, to go with such a different type of design for sort of a replacement to the plastic pieces, but they decided to go with it. So it's interesting to see. I don't necessarily have anything against this particular design, but for people who are kind of set on this design, then they'll probably receive something more like this. And that's just definitely something you'd want to take into account before making the purchase. So I don't know if on their website it's clear exactly what the pieces will look like, but therefore you have my videos so you guys can see and kind of make a decision whether or not this is something you'd want to acquire. Yeah, different height, different, not a whole lot different as far as the base diameter here. Just a little bit different, maybe a little bit smaller for the wooden one, but height difference, yeah, a little bit different in height, not by much, but the overall shape and the thickness and the girth of the pieces is going to be different as well. For those people who are used to playing on the SquareOFF board and have played with this particular knight for a while and kind of got used to the shape overall of the knight, you'd be getting something different. Okay, so there's that. What do you guys think about the knights? What do you guys think? Do you think that they should have had the wooden knights being more like this, like that, or maybe any other design? As far as the weight of the knights, the light plastic knight measures at 21 grams. The dark plastic knight measures at 21 grams as well. The light wooden one measures at 21. And the dark wooden one measures at 24. So just a little bit, a couple of grams heavier, but not by much. So they're all about the same ballpark weight-wise. Rooks are different as well. Different rooks. The wooden rooks, as you guys can immediately see, are going to be a lot more slender. Slender more this way. The diameter of the top here is going to be a lot kind of thinner. Thinner neck, thinner base, smaller diameter of the bottom of the base, not by much, but smaller. The top portion of the rooks as well, as you guys can see right over here, the cuts are a little bit different, but also the thickness of these areas right over here is different too. It's a little bit thinner here on the top. It's about the same depth, but it's, yeah, definitely you can tell that they're different knights altogether, different shape. Once again, you have the same repetition of the pattern that we've seen before. You have this little platform that extends out before it moves into the base part, and you see this more subtle kind of ring here, this division between the bottom part and the neck. But at least the pieces follow each other as far as the overall dimensions. The wooden pieces kind of have repetitive patterns of their own, and the plastic ones have repetitive patterns of their own, so you can tell that the pieces belong to that particular set. As far as the weight of the rooks, the light rook weighs in at 21 grams for the plastic one, and 21 grams for the dark plastic one. The light wooden one weighs in at 18 grams, so a couple of grams difference, and the dark one weighs in at 21. So about the same for these three, and a couple of grams lighter for the light one. I'm not sure if it's going to be exactly the same if in your particular chess set, but yeah, a little bit of a difference, but not really all that noticeable. Finally, we've got the pawns here. Pawns are almost about the same height and about the same dimension. Not a whole lot different. Bases of the pawns are, well, the plastic ones are just a little bit bigger, but not by much. Overall, like I said, the height of the pawns is very similar. The shape overall is a little bit different. The ring here at the top is going to be a little bit more rounded and smooth. The transition between the base and the neck is a little bit less pronounced in the pawns as opposed to the other plastic pieces, but the base is a little bit wider here. The neck of the wooden piece is a little bit sharper here, as you guys can see, and a little bit more pronounced. That kind of creates a little bit smaller neck here, smaller body, and then the base, well, the base then transitions from this kind of a subtle ring here. Not much different in height, as you guys can see. As far as the weight of them, the light pawn measures at 15 grams, and then the dark one measures at 16 grams. Light wooden pawn measures at 12 grams, and the dark wooden pawn measures at 12 grams. So 16 versus 12, a little bit lighter. So these pieces are going to be a little bit lighter. 12 grams, 16 grams, not a whole lot. If you guys remember me talking about the Polson chess set, way back when, the pawns I think were like 25 grams or something like that. So, and they were about the same height. So that's just, this just tells you that these pieces are going to be a little bit lighter overall. It's not terrible, and lighter pieces like this, they're still stable because the bases are pretty wide, but just something you guys want to probably take into account. I kind of suspected, when I purchased the wooden chess set, that there might be a little bit more weight to them, but it's about the same. In some situations, it's actually a little bit lighter. But as far as the feel of the pieces goes, I'm used to the plastic ones quite a bit, and the plastic ones have a certain feel to it. But the wooden ones, they feel more wooden than these, of course. But because of the fact that they're a little bit light, it still kind of feels like it feels like they could have been a little bit heavier. That's my kind of conclusion about that. Okay, well, let me go ahead and just finish this video off. I'm going to set up these pieces on the board and just kind of show you what they look like, show you how they perform with the software, and kind of give you guys my final opinion. Okay, so I guess I wanted to show you guys that I took the time and I set up half of the board in wooden chess pieces and half of the board in plastic chess pieces to kind of give you guys an idea that the board has no confusion with regards to whether or not your pieces are wooden or plastic, or whether or not you put a queen here or a bishop or whatever. As long as there's a piece in its initial position at the beginning of the game, it doesn't really worry. It takes into account that you're going to be probably putting the right pieces where you need to put them, so it seems like it's all good. But both of the pieces, and I've studied this, I've tested it out, both of the wooden pieces and the plastic pieces, they perform pretty well overall as far as their ability to be sensed by the board, so there's no issues there. I felt like the magnetic pull of the wooden chess piece is a little bit stronger than the plastic one. Certainly, if you decided to get the wooden chess pieces, you'd have an extra set of pieces in case something happens to your plastic ones, or if maybe you were playing against somebody in real life and they just said, I love this SquareOFF board or whatever, but I don't like playing with plastic chess pieces, I like the feeling of wooden chess pieces, then in that case you would have the opportunity to set up their side in wooden chess pieces, and you could still play with the plastic ones or just play with the wooden or what have you. You can switch and swap. You can have every other piece in plastic and every other piece in wooden. You can just have it randomly if that was your fancy. Personally, I think it would create a lot of confusion, but like I said, as far as their overall playing and the way that the chess pieces feel, I feel like the plastic ones I'm really quite used to. I've enjoyed playing with the plastic ones for quite a while. I know I'm playing for the white. I think that for those people who like the wooden chess pieces, this might be something that you guys might want to consider. Taking into consideration that these are, at this point, the only wooden chess pieces that you can get for the SquareOFF Pro Board. If they do come up with different designs of the wooden chess pieces, then I'll be sure to review those and kind of give you guys my feedback. I think this is kind of an overall relatively good option for a lot of people that are looking for a little bit more of an authentic, original, classic feel to a chess game. And even though, like I said, I've played a lot with the plastic chess pieces, I haven't played yet as much with the wooden chess pieces, but I feel like as far as the board goes, it recognizes both of the pieces pretty equally. As far as the sizes, yes, we've seen there's going to be a little bit of a difference there, but there's not a whole lot of difference. There's not a whole lot of difference in weight. So for people that are looking for the same type of feel, more or less, are going to get more or less the same type of feel. For people who are thinking, hey, I'm going to invest my money and get a really nice, sturdy, polished, heavy wooden chess set, then this is going to be not the chess set that you're going to be getting, because these pieces are going to be lighter. They're not super weighty, but they're still stable, just like the plastic ones. They still look good.
They look better, I feel like, on this board than the plastic ones, in my opinion, because, like I've said in one of the previous videos, you have this sort of a gray board, and you have these light and dark pieces, and everything kind of feels gray and sort of modern, I guess you could call it. For some people that really want that feel of wooden chess pieces and the look of wooden chess pieces, then you have nice coloration. You have the boxwood and what looks like golden rosewood, but actually I think is probably boxwood, and it looks better. In my opinion, it looks better on this board. It looks better on any board than just this sort of black and white. I don't like as much when, as you guys have seen me probably review the plastic chess pieces from before, when it's just this sort of like a black and white. I don't gravitate towards that. Even for my plastic chess pieces, I like when it's sort of like this creamy beige and brown. It looks more natural, and that's what I like. It just kind of, it feels easier for the eyes. And but like I said, don't get me wrong. I've played with the with the plastic chess pieces for a long time on this board, and I really enjoy playing this board. I think that SquareOFF has done a lot of great things with this product from the start. I felt like it was a successful product overall. I've played a lot of games, as you guys have seen me review previous videos on this board. I've played a number of games, and I've formed great opinions about this board. The only downside to this for me is because being a busy person, a lot of times being at home with the kids, setting up this particular board to play at home is just hard in my particular situation, because I can quickly turn on my computer and maybe get a quick game in, and hopefully nobody will notice me being absent for like 20 minutes. Whereas if somebody catches me with a board like this, they're like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be like cleaning the house or helping the kids, and you're here playing chess. It's harder to hide this. Not that there's anything wrong with playing chess, but in my situation, yeah, sometimes I get in trouble. I remember. So, and sometimes setting up the board takes a little bit extra time. So, but like I said, as far as the gaming experience, it's really good. It's really quite nice. So, if you guys haven't got yourself a SquareOFF Pro Board, then maybe consider getting one. I'm not affiliated with them so much so like I am affiliated with some of the other companies. I believe I formed an affiliate connection with them, so to speak, and they provided me to provide you with like a promo code, and if you put Also Chess when you're buying the board, it will give you a discount of like so many %. But unfortunately, if you put Also Chess right now, like if you put their own code in that they automatically put in for you, you get the board for $199. But if you put in my Also Chess code, you get the board for $250 something. So like, there's absolutely no way anybody in their right mind, unless you wanted to pay more, would use my code, at least at this time. And I tried using the code for these pieces, and it didn't work. So you get the pieces that are already on sale for like $59 if you wanted to get these wooden pieces. You get the bag for $39, which, like I said, I paid about $80 for this bag, and you get the bag for $40 right now, which is worthwhile if I'm not sure how long they're going to have that sale for, but it is worthwhile. So there's that, but hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. I'm super duper excited about the next video, because I've got some other chess boards that I've purchased too. I've purchased them just the same way that I told you guys from the beginning when I was initially making this channel that I said to you guys, my intention is to bring you as many chess sets as possible. And if somehow by making these videos and by you guys watching and liking these videos, and somehow I'm able to generate a little bit of funding so I can bring you guys more chess sets, that was my entire intention with this particular channel. So hit that like button, guys, because in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be reviewing some really, really awesome chess sets. I would want to keep it a secret, but you know what? I'm not going to keep it a secret. I'm just going to show it to you guys. But do put that like button at the end to let me know that you are excited about the next video. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already, so you will be anticipating the next videos. You guys, I'll show you real quick before I leave. Just a couple of boxes. I got this cool box. I don't know if you guys can recognize it, but it's the King Performance Millennium chess set. that I purchased from House of Staunton. They had a really good sale over Christmas, so I ended up getting this particular set, and I will be reviewing it here in the next couple of weeks probably. And then I got something that I'm really super excited about, as I got this board. It's the DGT Smart Board with the electronic chessboard with the DGT, I believe with the DGT plastic pieces. Yep, it came with the DGT electronic plastic pieces. So therefore, I'm going to be reviewing those boards here within the next month. I'm super excited. I'm actually finally going to be able to connect the DGT Smart Board to the DGT Pi clock. And I'm actually like more excited than anything for the DGT board, because I ended up getting Fritz with it, and I will be able to show you guys not only how the board works, but I'm also going to be able to kind of delve in further, link the board to my PC and test it out on a bunch of different programs. DGT is sort of this pro level where they have a lot of communications with a lot of different, like Fritz and all kinds of different programs that I'm super excited to test out. I know it's going to take some time for me to really test things out, so I might end up needing to do a couple of videos, but if you guys are excited about it, if you get psyched up, I'm going to review these boards for you. If these boards were something that you've already seen somewhere else, well, let's watch it again and hear my opinion about it. Like I said, it's going to be really, really exciting, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next video, okay? Bye-bye.